Hey everybody, part 2 of Dear Abby questions. I wanted to do some more since there were so many. Excuse me. So Jason asked, what was your inspiration to begin cosplaying? And do you have a favorite character to recreate? What has been your favorite to recreate thus far? My inspiration to begin cosplaying was first and foremost my dad. He inspired me with my geekiness. Sat with me during all the Doctor Who's, the cartoons, original Battlestar, Star Trek, you name it. Took me to a comic book store, took me to a library to read all the book series of the Star Wars novels, read them with me. And then I was in theater most of my life up until college. And when I stopped, when I stopped being in theater, I needed a creative outlet. So cosplaying came up. And I went to my first convention and went, hey, I think I could do this. My favorite character to recreate is Poison Ivy, just because she is my favorite comic book character. She is my favorite character, period. And I love how she can really change her look, and probably has changed her look more times than a lot of characters in comic books, I think, because she is nature and she is adaptable and everything else. So yeah, that's my favorite character to recreate, and has been so far, I think. Every single costume is my favorite because it's like a kid. You can't pick your favorite because you love them all. Steve asked, tabletop RPGs or MMOs? I'm not much for tabletop, other than I've started playing Magic the Gathering. I really like console and PC games, so I do like MMORPGs like WoW and, others. So Iron Cutter, how did you and Zen make your Spartan armor? My and Zen's armor was actually made for us by two individuals, Brandon McLean and Tim Wynn from It's Tim's Time. Although we're planning on making our own soon, those were actually made out of foam, and they do have tutorials up online about how to do that. Stephen asks, when the zombie apocalypse happens, do you think you will survive the first wave? And if so, what role do you think you would take on in your survivors group? I do think I would survive the first wave because I'm always planning and I'm always thinking about what I would do if the zombie apocalypse happens. Like, I'll be driving along. I'd be like, okay, if it happened right now, what would be my plan? And, I kind of like... I read a lot, so I have a lot of ideas. I've read a lot of survival books. I've read a lot of survival novels. I've done a lot of research, so I think I would be, the person that kind of helps the group out with their knowledge. Like, yes, you can eat that plant, or no, you use this plant to treat stuff, or, yes, we can farm this, and I would be the planner. I think that would be my idea. And plus, I'm not afraid of gore and taking care of business when it needs to be taken care of. Mattis, I think I pronounced your name right. What is your favorite game, or do you play games at all? I do play games. My favorite game of all time is probably, if it's console, it would have to be Tetris. It was the first game I remember really playing besides Pong. Because I love organization and I love stacking and making things neat. But other than that, it's Halo. Always Halo, always will be. Let's see. Lee Kelly, Marvel or DC? Both. Chrissy, my lovely, lovely Chrissy, who I love. If you could live in any time period, what and where would you live? I would actually live in Victorian era, probably around the takeover of the reign of young Victoria, up until probably the Industrial Revolution. It's good for me. And I would like to live in London, of course. Richard, what is the airspeed of an unladen swallow? You should know this, sir, and you shouldn't need to ask me this question. Go watch your Monty Python. Joshua, do you think that movies, books, games introduce the idea of Prince Charming too much? Most women I've met say they want someone to sweep them off their feet, but are not open to random acts of romanticism. I don't think that it introduces it. I think that women want to be romanced even if they say they don't, in a polite manner, like opening a door, letting a lady walk through. If you see a woman struggle with her packages, if you see anybody struggle with their packages, you should be helping them. I don't care if they're young, old, or whatever. If somebody needs help politely and ask first. But I think that people need to have a realistic view of relationships. You're going to argue, you're going to fight, You're going to make up, you're going to discuss, you're not always going to agree, but the bottom line is at the end of the day, no matter what happens, you love that person and you're willing to stand by them. That's a true relationship. So, yeah. Giuseppe, have you ever had problems with cosplay in public in which the day ended in that moment? I don't think so. I normally try to test out my outfits pretty thoroughly. The only reason I think I wish that the day had ended in that moment is if my feet are beyond numb and killing me and I just want out of my shoes. Mike, what is your favorite movie? My favorite movie... that's a hard one. It really depends on my mood. Like right now, I've been reading a lot of The Hobbit and different stuff, and I kind of really want to watch all the Tolkien movies again. But usually my hands down favorite movie is probably Master and Commander. I can put that in at any time and be okay. Jason, is Keith hard to shop for? Not really. I'm the girl that I take notes all year when he's like, oh, I think I'd like this. Oh, one day I want to get this figure. One day I'm like scribbling it down in my little notebook. So I normally, by the time I have to shop for him for anything, I'm on it. Let's see. Stuart, if you have 17 apples in one hand, 21 oranges in the other, while skydiving around the Galapagos Islands, what's the best way to have your bacon? Back on the plane. You shouldn't be skydiving, and I wouldn't be. Thank you very much. David, is there a character you've always wanted to be but haven't yet because the costume may be too difficult to pull off? If so, who? Well, there's a lot of those. I have a whole folder of one day costumes. This is a hard one to pick. I'm gonna, yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that, because there's so many, I have, so many. There's ways to do them, I just haven't had the time to do them. And I'm gonna end here, and we're gonna go to part 3, because you guys ask a lot of questions.